Hello, I am your host, Kathy Chester, and welcome to the Move It or Lose It podcast, a podcast about all things that move the mind, body, and soul. The Move It or Lose It podcast is for information, awareness, and inspirational purposes only. I am not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV, so please consult your doctor before making any medical decisions. The views expressed by advertisers, guests, or contributors are their opinions and not necessarily the views of the Move It or Lose It podcast. Introducing the Pulse device, cutting edge wearable device, revolutionary wellness designed to stimulate circulation, reduce harsh pain and tightness, and speed up recovery. The Pulse device uses advanced vibrotactile technology trusted by patients, clinicians, and wellness professionals. Whether you're recovering from an injury, battling a neural condition, or just want to feel the best every day, Pulse helps you recharge so that you can live and feel better. Lightweight, powerful, and easy to use. Experience better performance, better recovery, and a better you. Order now and save $30 using my code MSDisrupted at pulsedevice.com. The Pulse device is your health recharged. You won't be disappointed. Get it now for yourself. I have it. I love it. Go ahead and grab it. Hello, welcome to another edition of Move It or Lose It. Today, I have the honor of having some military veterans. So, thank you very much, you two, and I will get you guys in your names for serving and protecting our nation. So, I have been wanting to highlight some of our military, and you'll see that throughout our series this year. And so, you might notice that Dennis, I had you on, Dennis White. I've already had you on, and thank you. You are going to help me with some of these interviews. And today we also have Nate West. And these are names that are easy. I haven't messed up. They won't be on my bloopers of messed up names. So thank you, Nate, for participating today. You are also a military vet. You served in the Army, correct?
Yes, um I joined before 9/11, so I joined in August of 2000 and I finally got discharged in November of 2022. So my 22 years of service ended because I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2019.
Yay. Who doesn't want that?
Absolutely.
You were
But my
diagnosed actually the same year as my son.
Oh wow. I can't even
Highlight,
say congratulations. That's
right?
a horrible disease, but
For sure.
it was a shock to me whenever I first found out. I was actually very, very upset and
Yeah.
mad, and I was dealing with a lot of survivor's guilt anyways, from
Mhm.
my combat tours, because I dealt with explosives. So obviously, I'm
Yeah.
unfit for military service after finding out with MS, especially with the
Right.
memory issues,
Sure.
um, not
Was
controlling
that one
my.
of the first things, Nate, sorry to interrupt you. Was that
No,
one of the first
absolutely.
things that affected you was memory?
Um, I was really good at ignoring my body.
Okay.
I guess the military training taught me to ignore pain, ignore everything, and just push through.
Sure.
Um, they say pick yourself up by your bootstraps, or mission first, or
Yeah.
so many other military quotes. But
Right.
I didn't pay attention to my body,
Right.
but my family did.
Yeah.
So they saw the changes that was happening. I was actually having a lot of foot drop on my right side, but I was contributing that to a knee injury because I've had 3 knee surgeries on my left knee.
Okay.
I thought I was overcompensating,
Sure.
but apparently that was first signs of MS starting back
Right.
in 2013,
Wow.
but I didn't get diagnosed until 2019.
Wow. So when they did your MRI, were they able to see back that you had it for quite some time?
Yes.
Yeah.
The military is not great at communicating well with civilians, as Dennis put it.
Mhm.
And I saw some off-post doctors, and they actually did diagnose me with possible MS as early as July of 2013. but
Oh,
the records were off post versus on post. So whenever I did final out of the military, they gathered all of my medical records together, and that's when I saw it.
okay. Wow. So you get diagnosed, you get the news, and then what's next for you?
It is multiple sclerosis or any autoimmune disease is pretty much a immediate medical chapter because you're no longer fit for duty. So they started me on a med board, which is what it's called in the Army. Dennis, I don't know what it's called in the Marines. I'm guessing something similar. But the medical board started, and I had to fight because they wanted to give me the bare minimum. I was sitting at, as I said, I joined in 2000, so I was sitting at 19 years. They wanted to get me out immediately, and I said no. But they started the medical chapter, and I had to fight because I was sitting at 19 years. I wasn't at my full 20 for retirement age, and they were trying to give me, you know, basically 30% from the Army and
Wow.
maybe 25% to 30% for the VA, and I said no, and I had enough.
How do you fight that when you say no? When you say no, they're not just gonna say, "Oh, okay." So when you say no, what does that mean? You have to do a lot, I assume. What does that mean?
There's appeal processes for
Okay.
everything, and they also give you a lawyer.
Okay.
So I had a JAG lawyer advising
Okay.
me during the entire time, and they
I'm
said,
thinking as a civilian, I'm looking at this like Top Gun. So,
"Oh, absolutely." Which is Navy, but they
Dennis, you're laughing at me, so just stop.
yes. Well, most people think, flight, so they think Air
Yeah,
Force immediately, and it's
right.
actually Navy. But, yeah, so I was being advised by a military JAG lawyer, and I just started reading everything VA and found out that MS is covered. It's a minimum of 30%, which, oh, by the way, they were trying to give me 30%, so they weren't factoring in PTSD, 3 knee
Right.
surgeries, or anything else that I was exposed to, because my job was explosives, or, it's technically called combat engineer, but we did route clearance, so we made sure the roads were safe, AKA we got blown up a lot.
Sounds
So
like something I really wanna get into, like, right now.
oh, it's a blast, absolutely.
Pun intended.
Absolutely. It's a lifelong joke. Um, but yeah, so I started reading up on all the things that I was supposed to receive, and I just kept on telling them no every chance I got, which the military is so good at hearing the term no, sarcasm 100% intended. And
This
they
I
hated
know.
it. Yeah, they hated it.
Yeah,
Every single time I said no or I fought something, they're just like, "Why don't you just accept this? This is a good deal." I'm like, "For you, not for my family."
right, right.
And I kept on saying those words, and they that was during the time frame that COVID was happening,
Okay,
and, everything was shut down, so everything
right.
was online or via Zoom, so that gave me an opportunity to tell them no and
Yeah,
go see the doctors that I wanted to because they couldn't
sure.
schedule things quickly.
Right,
So during their hurry up and wait, I was doing research. I
right.
was finding people in my corner,
Yeah,
and it worked to my benefit. I can't say that for everybody. A
okay.
lot of military vets actually go out with that 30%, and then they have to fight for the other, 70%, to get to 100, and
So,
VA
the
math
question
is
for you
horrible.
guys, what do you both suggest? So, this is why these podcasts are so important and why I really wanted to do them. Because there are so many veterans that don't know what to do and they don't have that anybody to reach out to. They know okay, they got their 30 and they don't know what to do. What do you suggest? How do they reach out? Is there a community of veterans that they can reach out to?
Um, in the world we live in today, everything is online. You
Right.
can read as much as you want to, and I just suggest that you go to valid sources. I actually went through the VA website, And that's where I got most of my information. I used their information against them to
Mm.
say no. And whenever you go to these doctors, you have to explain it to them as if it's your worst day. Yes, with MS, we do have good days where we can do some of the things we normally do, but it's not every day. And
Right,
I had to explain that as not only a service member, but as
right,
a patient of MS. Because 2 weeks ago, I couldn't even get myself out of bed.
right,
I, I just physically couldn't. My body was not communicating well with my brain. I had no appetite. I didn't want to leave bed. I was extremely fatigued. And unfortunately, that's a new normal for me.
yeah,
So I had to learn to listen to my body and know what it needed. Sometimes I just need a day of rest.
right,
Sometimes I can go out and do everything I want to with my kids,
right,
but that's not the normal. And I had to
right.
explain that to doctors that what my new normal was.
How many doctors would you say understand multiple sclerosis?
I am blessed with a really good neurologist that does.
Wow,
Um,
good.
I
Good to hear.
I'm originally from Missouri, but I ended up retiring here in Kentucky because
Okay,
of that. I did not
okay.
want to move away from that really good doctor who actually listens to me.
Yeah,
And that is so hard to find
yeah,
that
I hear you.
whenever I say something, they listen and they put it in their notes.
Wow,
And the next time I come in, it's documented that
wow.
I don't like taking pain meds, even
Yeah,
though I'm constantly in pain. The Army
right,
taught me that I can easily be addicted to pain meds,
right,
and they tried giving me all of them, and I
right.
said, "No, I
Yeah,
don't like the side effects."
yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's why I've learned to work with different companies that are really trying to help us so that we're not using all of the medication. I think for me, it's been almost 30 years. I was diagnosed young as well. And I think, back in the day when it was like, you can look forward to a stroll later, I was like, what? So, wanting to be in the military, I just would I would go and run it out. And I would then make a phone call, 4 miles in and say, okay, I didn't win today. I couldn't run the disease out. So pick me up. I'll do it again tomorrow. So it was so crazy to be told that I would take a stroll or a bike ride, years later. I could not grasp that. It didn't make any sense. But, being fit and knowing that I wanted to do training and stuff like that, it made nothing. My grandfather had it, my aunt had it, nothing that was said just to sit down and rest. None of that made sense. So, because of my background in training, it was like, "No, you have to move it or lose it." So, you'll atrophy. I was like, "I am a big rule follower, but I will not follow that rule. I will move my body constantly so I don't lose anything." So, I think that I mean, in 2020, literally is when the MS Society issued movement is your most important medicine. And I was like, whoa, okay, yep, that is true. So frustrating because so much is unknown with MS. And so obviously it's a great month to highlight veterans with multiple sclerosis. But with brain injuries or anything, it is so I guess where I want to go a little bit further with you guys is okay, we know we can go. You gave great advice. Go look on the VA website, right? Because they're going to give you that's going to be the most reliable information rather than going on different websites that are could give you just people's opinions or some kooky stuff. What about those that cognitively, now I'm still talking about MS or stroke or any brain injury, cognitively can't do that, can't get onto a computer, can't cognitively remember what they're reading or can't think that far. Where's help for them? How do they get that out?
That's where, um, so for me, it was a lawyer because I was still active duty.
Okay.
For somebody that gets diagnosed after the military, Dennis, you might be able to help out, but I think it's 8 years after you're discharged from the military, you have to claim MS. And then you
Yeah.
can also claim all of the subcomponents or um, what is affected by MS. So, like your cognitive ability is
Mhm.
affected or your mobility is affected. Those are all secondary causes of the MS that you can claim. Whenever it comes to my cognitive ability, I use that fight in me and that anger that I initially felt from being diagnosed because I didn't know what MS was. So I
Right.
had to look it up. And whenever my kids or my wife would see that the stress of it was affecting my cognitive ability,
Right.
they helped me out by having a second set of eyes to look
Yeah.
over, what I was looking at and
Right.
being able to read it and understand it,
Yeah.
which was a struggle.
Yeah.
And those come into like whenever you see those doctors, they have a form that they have to fill out. Well, you
Mhm.
can download the form.
Yeah.
Um, and it's this um I know it has three initials. Everything has initials, right? They but it's basically your disability form.
Yeah.
And I can't think of it right
Do you know
now.
what it is, Dennis?
Brain fog.
And now
Okay.
I can look it up, but I
And
think it's like
what is the years, Dennis? Do you know that you have?
the what?
The amount of
It's
years you have? Is it 8 years?
it's 7 or 8. I
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I had the difficulty because my MS was diagnosed. I got out in '93. My MS
Uh,
wasn't diagnosed till 2014.
okay.
So my approach with the VA, I mean, at the time I was going to the VA because years prior, I'd lost my we had a big layoff at work, so I'd lost my job, and I was talking to another veteran, and he mentioned that, I mentioned that I lost my job, so I was looking for work, and he said that he was like, you can go to the VA for your medical stuff if you've lost your
Mhm.
job. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the VA, applied, and I got, benefits there. So
Okay.
I've been going to the VA for, years for all my,
Right.
well, most of my medical stuff. But
Sure.
when I was diagnosed with MS, um, the VA sent me to Ohio State to get because they weren't sure. I was seeing just a neurologist at the VA and they weren't sure. So they were like, we need you to see a specialist. So they sent me to Ohio State, and Ohio State's the one that diagnosed me. Uh,
Okay.
but as far as things I was fighting for, um, I'd had pretty much good luck with the VA. And I never even thought that I could get my MS service connected until years later, I found out that, when I was serving in Okinawa, Japan, I got
Uh,
mono, which is
okay.
Epstein-Barr virus. So,
Right.
um,
Now we know so much more about that.
yeah, and I didn't know that until I started seeing an MS specialist outside
Right.
of the VA. And he asked me about my history with the military and if I ever got
Sure.
injured or anything. And I was like, no, really, the only thing that happens, I got mono in Japan.
Right. And then it was like, "Bing."
Yeah, and he said, "Well, mono is linked to MS."
Right.
Um, so that's when I started filing my claim for
Uh-huh.
MS, and I hired a law firm, and this law firm is, like, based in Texas, and they don't take any money from you until they win you a percentage, and then they only take, like, 10% of the back pay.
So why weren't you able to do, like JAG, or why weren't you able to do a military lawyer? Is that because you weren't,
I think
um
that's just 'cause I wasn't on active duty,
okay, okay,
um, and so the way I approached it was I really didn't have to fight for anything until I wanted that myocycle.
okay.
Myocycle restored my ability to walk. So when I found that, I called the company and they were like, "Oh, if you're a vet," I mentioned I was a veteran. They said, "Oh, you're a veteran. Just request this through your VA." And they're
Mhm.
like, "Give this to veterans all over the country." And I'm like, "Okay."
Now is that something that you had heard about, Nate?
I was actually gonna ask Dennis, what is that?
Oh, it's an FES device. Um,
Don't you have it out like a little
yeah,
why were you there in that messy area? No.
it uses electric stimulation and it It's kind of like a bicycle, but it's made for people with MS and people that have spinal cord injuries. So you can, if you were in a wheelchair, you just roll up to it and put your feet in the pedals, and they strap yourself in, and then you have all these electrodes all over your legs. I use about 16, like 20 electrodes on my legs. So
It's really, really neat. I was able to watch a class and it is really neat, but it's something that the military does provide. And I don't think most military men know that. And
no,
so
I never even knew about it. You know what got me onto it was I had a bad fall when I was trying to ride a bike, and so I just Googled bikes for MS, and this MyoCycle thing came up. So I called the company, and they said just request it through your VA. So I told my doctor about it at the VA, and he put in the request with PT, met with physical therapy, and explained what the device was. And the lady was like, "Yeah, that sounds like it would be really helpful." And she's like, "I'll go ahead and submit the request." So I didn't hear anything back, and a while later, I found out that it was denied, and I'm like, "Well, why is there somebody calling me telling me it was denied?" And so they said it was denied, and the reason was, "We don't supply bicycles to veterans." And I'm like, "Okay, they don't even know what this is." So I met with the head of physical medicine and the head of prosthetics to try to tell them what this was, and the lady at the head of physical medicine, she didn't know what it was, and she didn't even wanna know what it was. She was just giving me this attitude about she's like, "Oh, I see devices like this all the time, but that doesn't mean they work." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this is an FDA approved device for people with multiple sclerosis, so what are you talking about?" And so I spent probably 2 years. If I knew what I know now, it probably wouldn't take that long because
right.
I wasn't real familiar with the appeal process, so I was contacting, you know, different organizations like Semper Fi Fund,
Uh,
DAE, and I even contacted my congressperson, and their department was the ones that told me about the appeal process. So I filed 3 appeals. The 3rd appeal goes outside of the VA, goes to like a board, and they make a decision. So after my 3rd appeal, they approved it for 12 weeks. So they sent it to me, came out and set it up, and I had to go in like every 30 days to get tested by the physical therapy to make sure it was working right. And I blew all their tests out of the water, so they ended up just giving it to me.
so I'm going to make you the contact person
That's awesome.
for when everybody talks and asks about the MyoCycle. I'm going to make you the contact person for that.
Yeah, I
So,
promote it all the time because it was so amazing because I went before I got it, while I was fighting for it, I did this, clinical trial in Ohio. It's called
mm,
TM therapy. It's a brain stimulation, and before I got that, I worked 7 AM to 3:30 PM, and by 3:30, I was dead. I would just go in bed and lay down and watch TV
mm.
the rest of the night. I was just exhausted. So, I learned about this TMS therapy through a veteran video that they were treating PTSD on with it.
Have you
So
ever heard of that, Nate? No. Okay.
you know, so
He's giving me all kinds of information. I'm writing it.
Okay. I
oh,
You
like
know
that.
I'm
it
you know I'm going to forget, so I have to write
Yeah,
it
no,
down.
I love that. And I love this is, one of the things that is my heart that the veterans can share with each other knowledge that, in the month of March, but also that this becomes something that I think is very important. Go
so
ahead.
when I called my MS specialist in Ohio, and I asked him, I said, "Have you ever heard of this TMS therapy, and would it benefit people with MS?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got a clinical trial right now with it. Do you want in on it?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely." So he got me in the trial. It was open to veterans and first responders, and I had to go to Ohio to do it. So I work remote anyway, so I could just work from Ohio. And I spent 6 weeks. It's like 12-minute treatments every day for 6 weeks. Well, while I was down there, I asked the TMS doctor if she was familiar with the myocycle and if it would help with MS. And she's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "That would be perfect." And she said, "You wanna try it?" And I was like, "Yeah." So she set me up at Ohio State that has a myocycle in their physical therapy department. And I did over that 6-week therapy sessions, I did 7 30-minute sessions on the myocycle. And they kept track of my progress. And by the end, they said my leg strength improved by 60%.
That's amazing.
Once
That's really
once
amazing.
they said that, I was like, "Can you put that in writing? Because I want that for the
Yeah.
VA for my appeal." So I had that, letter from them, I had a couple letters from my doctors, everyone's saying I should have it, and it's still
Yeah.
kept me denied. So, but then, I think it was my after the second denial, I reached back out to my congressperson, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Look, keep denying this, what do I gotta do?" And they're like they responded with, File another appeal, and
Mhm.
that'll outside of the VA to a board, and they'll make a decision." So I did that, and they approved it, so,
And you have it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
And
think that's really
I
neat.
got
And
it I
yeah.
think I got it in July or April of 2024,
Okay.
and by June, I was walking unassisted.
Yeah.
So I was, like, on it every day, doing it every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. I think that's such an important thing that we fight for. Well, that you guys fight for. But I mean, I have this platform, so I want it to be used for things like this. And I think it's really important that veterans know about this. And especially those who may be afraid to ask for those things. And I think because, you talked about that, Nate, that fight is in you. So those who get exhausted of advocating, I think for most of our veterans, most of our military, you are used to fighting for things. You are used to going to bat for things. And so do you think that gives you the strength to continue to advocate when you're told no? Do you think that that is just, in you to just say, "I'm sorry, I will continue to fight for this until you get that I need to have this."
It's not within everybody. I I used that negative response to my benefit,
Mhm.
but I see so many veterans that just give up quickly because
Yeah,
there's like it's not worth the effort and the
yeah,
strain and the stress that it puts on your body because
yeah,
stress really does affect MS so much
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
and it puts you in an extreme fatigue state. I was early in my diagnosis and I was active duty, so I was still able to fight without it
Yeah,
completely washing me out.
yeah,
Now I wouldn't be able to do that.
yeah.
But the form that I used is
Oh, yeah,
actually a disability benefits questionnaire, also known as a DBQ. Those are the
yeah. Okay.
initials that I forgot. And this
I'm
was
gonna
where
write
I
that
did
down.
this 7 years. I was under the impression that it was
Okay.
fake. Of
And I'll
course,
have them at the bottom of the show notes too.
as everything in the military, everything is subject to change. And that's why it's so important to get the information from a reliable source.
Right.
But whenever it came to those disability benefits questionnaires, that's what the doctors has to fill out, and I went off of that. The
Yeah,
bottom of the form, it tells you exactly what you're needing to get 30%, to get
right,
50%, to get 80%, to get 100%.
right,
It tells you what are your requirements,
right.
and I went off of that and used that to my advantage because information is key, and you're using their information against them, and
Right.
they want you to be denied the first couple of times. They
Sure,
want you to fight because so many so many people are trying to get that magic number of
sure.
100%, and they may not be qualified. And I understand that not everybody is qualified, but the people that do qualify for it should not have to fight that hard
Right, right.
to get the yes. Because it is debilitating for us with MS, us as
Yeah,
veterans,
right.
to fight, and you see so many suicides and so many other things
Yes.
that
The depression is especially when we're talking about,
Right.
well, all of it, but when we're with our Vietnam vets, we've seen so much of that with, turning to with all of our veterans, but turning to, alcohol, something to numb the pain, drugs and suicide, and how many marriages, make it with vets, not many. And so I think that, to your point, what do we do with the vets that feel like you do right now? If I had to go through that again, I wouldn't have the strength to do it. The ones that
Because it's
can't.
overwhelming.
Yeah. So is there help to come alongside your brothers and sisters in arms that say, okay, I'm here to help. I'll help you do this because I know it's too much.
There are several organizations out there. Dennis mentioned a few of them with the DAV, Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Mm,
You also have American Legions out there,
mm,
but those are just the big names.
yeah.
There's smaller local companies that do something similar. And if you're close to a military base, you'll find them in abundance.
Yeah.
But they really do care, and a lot of them are veterans themselves, and
Yeah.
they've been through that same foxhole of having to fight
Right.
it, and they know how to do it well.
Yeah.
I try to use my experience to help veterans in the same way because I
Yeah.
do know how to fight it,
Right.
and I know how to win, and
Right.
that's so important.
Yeah,
And
for
just
sure.
having somebody on your side that says, "I've done it. I've been
Right.
there. I got the T-shirt."
Yeah,
Um,
for
but
sure.
it's it is a challenge. You're
How are you
absolutely
feeling
correct.
now, Nate? How is your MS now?
Um, I have good days and bad days. This is the MS Awareness Month of March, and this is the in 2026 from my 2019
Mhm.
diagnosis. I'm doing the MS walk this year,
Good for you. Good for
and I'm a
you.
team captain, and
Nice.
I'm trying to get everybody to realize that men are diagnosed with MS too,
Yes.
because we're such a small minority, and I'm super excited, like, almost
Yeah,
in
that's
tears,
awesome.
excited to be able to do this.
Let me know, I'll post it for you.
Oh, absolutely, I'll
Yeah.
let Adam know too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're competitive, we like that kinda
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very excited for you. That's really cool. When is yours?
I believe it is not until, April 8th, I think? I don't
Okay.
remember, I'd have to look it up again from
Okay.
memory.
Yeah.
I put
Yes,
it in
I
my
understand.
calendar.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, keep me posted and we'll do something for it. So that is I really appreciate you do you have any questions, Dennis? Remember you were supposed to host this with me.
No, but I did wanna add that there are patient advocates at the VA.
Okay.
The ones I've dealt with haven't really been helpful, but, I've heard there are some good ones at some
Okay.
VAs, and that's part of the problem, not all the VAs are the same,
Okay.
but when I was requesting the MyoCycle, I was arguing with the head of prosthetics. I was telling him, "Look, this device is being provided to veterans all over the country, and they're just requesting
Right.
it through their VA. Why?" And his exact words were, "Just because one VA does something doesn't mean they all do." And I was
Sure.
like, "That is bullshit."
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I
Wow.
wanted to mention, there's a couple devices, I have both, that they just gave me, like,
Okay.
I told 'em, I was dealing with pain, they're like, "Oh, have you heard of this?" And I was like, "No," but I'm not the type of I hate taking medication.
Right.
I take probably, 5 or 6 different medications, and that's because I need them and I have to,
Right.
but, one is called an H-Wave, and one is called a Replexa Plus. The H-Wave is kinda like a TENS unit, and there's different like, if you're having like, I have a lot of neuropathy in my hands and feet, so I use it for that, and there's certain, like, electrodes you put certain areas to help with that,
Mhm.
and it's been very helpful, um,
And
and
that
that
was just given to you. So you just explained and that was something that they gave.
Yeah, my doctor one
Okay.
day asked me if I'd ever heard of it, and I'm like, "No." He's
Okay.
like, "I'll send you one," and I didn't have to do anything for it. Same with the
Okay.
Replexa Plus. Now, the Replexa Plus is a little different. I'm not sure what kinda technology it uses, but you don't feel anything, but it's supposed to, help with blood flow, pain,
Okay.
um,
And this
and
was your doctor at the VA.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Very neat. So there is an understanding, there is a desire to give out, to give things. Just some of them, at least some of the VAs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of my experience at the VA has been I'd say 90%. Now, there's been a few times, with, like, trying to get the, the myocycle.
Mhm,
That was the biggest thing, but, um, I remember when I was getting I'm on Ocrevus, so I get
mhm,
that every 6 months through the VA, and my first dose got all screwed up.
mhm.
I went to my appointment, and they're like, "Oh, your doctor didn't sign the release or the paperwork or whatever," and I'm like, "Okay, just walk down the hall and get him to sign it," and she wasn't there that day, and I'm like, "Okay," and so the nurse comes back, "Your doctor's not here," and I'm like, "Well, she has to have a backup, right? Just get the,"
Right.
and the backup doctor for her said, "I'm not familiar with him, so I don't wanna sign off on it," and I'm like,
Right.
"You don't need to be familiar with me, you just look at my record and
Right.
see." But so that was a aggravating thing,
Sure.
um, but other than that, I've had pretty positive
Been all
experience.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Now,
I
do
would
you
say
get
the
your
same.
you're on Ocrevus as well,
I'm
Nate?
on Ocrevus,
Okay.
and I don't go to the VA,
Okay.
because they don't have an MS specialist.
Okay.
They have neurological specialists, which they tried to get me to see, and I, again, had to fight and say,
Yeah.
"No, they're not specifically for MS.
Right.
They deal with neuroscience, but MS is
Right.
different, and
Exactly.
it has to be somebody that is MS
Yes.
specific." The VA does have, MS, Centers of Excellence is what it's called,
Okay.
and the closest one to me, I believe, is actually in St. Louis,
Oh gosh.
Missouri, and I'm in Kentucky, so
Yeah.
obviously I'm not gonna make that 5-hour drive
Right.
to go
No.
see, a specialist, so,
Right.
but like Dennis said, not all VAs are the same,
Right.
and those centers of excellence are absolutely amazing, and they do know all of these different,
Mhm.
durable medical devices, which is what they're called in the VA,
Right.
that they can give us, and they
Right.
do help,
Yeah.
documented medically help us.
Yeah.
I use a Bioness, which was one of
Okay.
the first devices I got, and then whenever I was
And
under
what is
extreme.
that?
A Bioness is also a TENS unit. It
Mhm.
goes on my right, right below the knee, and it is a TENS unit that activates um, that muscle that lifts my foot up, so I don't have
Uh,
the foot drag.
yeah, the foot drop. Are you dragging?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then with my Modified by MS, which is the organization that's recognized by the National MS Society, I
Yeah.
do Zooms once a week with the men on
Yeah.
with MS.
I've
Um,
I've talked and I've done some speaking with them. So very
yeah,
very
Matthew and
familiar with
Rebecca
them.
are
Great.
amazing,
Yeah.
but Um, I reached out to them whenever I was diagnosed, and they've given me so much information, and there's a lot of men on there that
Yes.
have been through similar things. They may have been diagnosed for 20 years, and I'm
Right.
barely hitting 5 or 6, so
Right.
they can give me those tips and
Great
tricks.
support group to be in.
It is. And they hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Which I need so many
Yeah.
times. I need another dude to say, "Stop being a bitch
Yeah.
and get off your ass, go
Yeah.
do something,
Yeah.
get up and
For
move."
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And Adam is great about that.
Yeah.
Um, he'll call you out and say,
Yeah, Adam's one of
have
my
you done your
best friends.
planking
So
today?"
I know. I know that he is. So I do the walk in May with him all the time
That's
just to do
awesome.
that with him. So I've taught him, worked with him, love him. we're about 20 minutes from each other, maybe close to 30. But yeah, we're really close. So
And he just got those 2, sleeves for his legs for
yeah,
that.
yeah, I was really excited about that. I was doing a podcast with them and I was like, "You're gonna be there, go talk." And so it worked. I was just super stoked that he got it. So
Yeah,
Is
it
that
was
for Bionic?
amazing.
yeah,
Silent.
yeah. So really excited for him. So always excited for him.
Yeah, I
So
used to have
really,
a Bioness, but I got frustrated with it because it was like every time I put it on, it was like a different experience. Sometimes my foot would shoot out the other way, and
okay.
just got aggravated with it, kind
Interesting.
Being in Kentucky, the person I saw was based out of Nashville, so it's only like a 2-hour drive. They actually came up and programmed it
Oh,
to my gait or to the way I walk.
of
And
right.
then they had to come back and adjust because with everything, um, your mind is a wonderful thing and it will learn, um, whether you want it to or not. So it learned the
right,
device and it helped activate it with my own mind
right.
versus the electrodes. So I had to
Interesting.
get it adjusted. And you have some, I think it's residual effects. It
Hmm.
lasts after you take it off. And I really enjoyed the Bioness.
Okay.
Luckily, that's all I need for right now.
Okay.
But like I was saying, the VA was really good about the durable equipment. So
Good.
whenever I
Very
was
good.
having an extreme relapse and I literally couldn't walk, I couldn't go upstairs or anything like that. They did give me a um oh, what's it called? I call it my go-go gadget machine. They gave me a scooter for those long
Okay.
distant walks so I can still do things with my family.
Good. Good.
And that's been amazing. It's a
Yeah.
Pride Victory 10 or something, but um I only use it when I have to. But
Yeah.
the fact that I have it is amazing.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear that they fixed that too for because as you know, we can create bad brain plasticity or good brain plasticity. And so having it fit more secure will help you to walk in the correct way. So that's good.
Absolutely.
Very
And
good.
that's very important to
Yeah.
get it adjusted as needed. And the
Yeah.
people at Bioness are good about adjusting that. If you do
Yeah.
still see a physical therapist or somebody like that, that's
Yeah.
the office that I was working out of.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a company I'd like to talk to. So, for sure. Well, I can't tell you how much I am grateful and probably will want to know more and dig your brains more for things. But I'm so grateful to have you guys on and to just kind of dig your brain about the military and about the VA and just about how you guys have done what you've done and just so grateful for not just for the fact that for your service, obviously so grateful for that, but understanding the above and beyond. We all have to I almost said activate. We all have to fight and to that word's just not coming. I'm having an MS
Advocate.
loop. Yeah, advocate for ourselves. And we know how difficult that can be over and over again. But there is a totally different level when it comes to the military as well. And so, bringing that out and having that knowledge that most civilians don't, I think is really powerful. And Dennis, get ready for a lot of phone calls about the myocycle. So you are the point man on that. So I look forward to having more stories. And so this month, I really wanted to highlight some of our veterans with that are dealing with multiple sclerosis. So Nate, it has been such a pleasure to meet you and to know your story and it just is it's just very neat to know that you were able to serve and to really get what you needed and to see how you went through those channels to really continue to say no, I need it this way, and that you were able to get it and to fight to be able to be the husband and to be able to be the dad that you needed to be. So very very proud of your service and proud of your ability to fight for that. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I
thank you.
appreciate that. And Dennis, it was a pleasure meeting you. Seriously,
Yeah, you too, mate. Thank you very much for
you
coming.
got my number, so we need to talk more.
Yeah, I have a
Right.
feeling you guys will talk for I don't think you guys will not talk anymore, so that's great.
You saved in my phone, buddy. Sorry.
That's great.
So thank you guys. And don't forget to tune in. Don't forget to subscribe, and liking and subscribing are different. Please subscribe. That helps us with our podcast. And I will see you guys next week for another edition of Move It or Lose It. Don't forget, we do have to move it. That is our best medicine. See you guys soon. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Move It or Lose It podcast. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and left a review. Remember, you can find me on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. New episodes of the Move It or Lose It podcast air every other Wednesday. If you have any suggestions for future guests or topics, please visit my website at www.msdisrupted.com. Until next time.